everybody, welcome to With the Souls of Trees. I have no idea when this game came out, but we're gonna heckin' play it because it's so cute. Look at it. Do you need more information? It's been a minute since we played a visual novel, hasn't it? Say something. Talk to me! The forest is quiet. The darkness settled over the leaves and boughs as if in its own semblance of sleep. A circle of figures stands in a clearing, a faint creaking of trees surrounding as the wind blows past them. Epic anime battle scene. The figure standing at the head of the group radiates an aura of respect as they speak. Look at you, the last three. Is this it? Sorry, Win. The situation isn't very good. A person speaks up, voice chipper despite the supposed gravity of the situation. Not very good. Not very good, you say? It's actually terrible. The third of the group snaps, an aggravated growling sound echoing through the trees. Uh-oh. The last of the group sighs, stepping between their ready-to-argue companions. Please, we came here to ask the king for help, not argue like we always do. Oh no, please, king, help! Help! They seem to have a more reserved yet nervous stance, and the two simmering persons stand down. Another few moments of silence with nothing but the wind. The supposed king coughs slightly, about to speak. He is stopped as the creaking of the trees alarmingly intensifies, despite the sudden absence of wind. Are you serious? Even here? He sounds apprehensive, the long tail trailing behind him, giving out a lash. I'm afraid, as Fisher said, the situation is not good at all. It's getting worse every day. Hello, Fisher. Do you fish? It's encroaching? Oh. Is it encroaching on the human villages? Soon it will even reach their coastal cities. We don't know what to do. She finally has the tone of panic, turning her head this way and that. I just got like a mental image of the little Mononoke thingy-majiggies from Princess Mononoke. You know, the little spirit boys? I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. The way that they just like their heads. They can fend for themselves. Humans are smart when they need to run away from something. The speaker scoffs, holding his arms. Fisher glares at him then, a hand outstretched and showing claws. Dove, you sure like to run your mouth. Don't forget, humans far outnumber us. They take care of the forest. She sneers at him, to which Dove only hisses back. Yes, they take care of our forest, but they also destroy it and everything in it. So I don't stand there and say they're free of blame. I don't know why I put an I. So don't stand there, okay. Do you think they started this mess? Dove's shoulders sag, almost sadly. I don't know. How would they even ruin something this badly? We need to figure out what to do now. If you've come to that conclusion, then help them out. A little at least. You can take care of that, can't you, Magpie? I've already rerouted some of the rivers. They will have means of power no matter where they end up settling. I need to do so also for everything else residing here. The animals and humans coexist of their own accord. They flinch when the noises overhead get louder. What noises? What noises? A rumbling can be heard after that, and all four of the residents of the clearing look around. Fisher slides closer to the king, bracing herself. The woods around them seemingly get darker and darker, the atmosphere getting heavier. Brandishing a hand fully formed in a scaled claw, the king cracks his knuckles. You three need to leave. Win, we can't. It's gonna eat you up. No, not the Fisher is frantic as she takes a step closer to Win, but he holds up a hand. I can withstand the dark for a time, but all of you will be torn asunder. You need to leave. Uh-oh. Things are getting intense, huh? The air is getting suffocating, and they all heave as if having difficulty breathing. A cracking sound, like trees falling, can be heard out of their sight, and Dove grabs Fisher and Magpie's hands. We gotta go, now. But Dove, we can't just... She gets cut off as Magpie holds her other hand. Fisher, I'm sorry. We must go. Wynn raises a hand, suddenly beckoning them close. Fisher rushes forward without a second thought, companions close behind her. There are things about this forest you still do not understand. I'm not able to tell you, and I never was, but... He sighs heavily, and Fisher reaches for his hand, grasping it in her own. He holds it back like a lifeline. A human is how you can find a way to fix this, one devoid of the dark inside. Fix everything that has happened now and before. Dove's tail lashes, and he shares a glance with Magpie, who is trying to turn them all away. The forest behind them sounds like it's breaking apart. With your hearts warmed in tandem, the fruit which bore you into this world, all of it will be your cure. Your cure. He backs away abruptly, hands slipping from Fisher's as he points at her and the others. Now go. Do not look back. Take control of your own life, as you deserve it more than you could possibly know. Fisher makes a sad noise in the pit of her throat. A Magpie rests a hand on her shoulder. She shares a look with them before hissing in pain and following them. The three dash off, forms changing as they go. Long, feathery, scaled bodies, arms with claws, wings tucked close to their sides as they scurry up and away. Wind closes his eyes and breathes in deep. He then opens them, turning to where the sound is loudest, and marches toward it. Those three have no idea of the underlying power at play here. I'm not even sure if they can manage to go through the next step, but I hope for the sake of everything else that they can. A solid darkness creeps over the ground, tearing the trees apart as it advances further. Impassable as it seems, the Lone King walks through it. Oh shit. Hello? The roaring stops. Beautiful forest. It's so pretty. I wish I lived near a forest. I don't. I live in a desert. Ugh. Not a whole lot of green here. The afternoon sun filters through the treetops, lighting up a meandering path through the fallen leaves. Faint sounds of running water are off in the distance, the occasional breeze sending the trees whispering. The pedaling of a bike comes down the path, calm and easygoing. Keaton. It's such a good afternoon. Thank God the weather cleared up after last week. Yuck. There's the faint scent of rain hanging in the forest, the sunlight steadily drying up the underbrush. I always like the smell of the forest after it rained. Wet dirt smells comforting sometimes. You should smell Arizona rain. It smells good. It's really good. Like, rain does not smell the same other places. I promise you, you won't regret it. Granted, it rains like 20 times a year, maybe. Yep, wet dirt. We couldn't get anywhere because this most recent monsoon, so it's nice to finally be out of the house. Balancing a basket on the back of my bike, I try to be super careful not to spill it over. Often enough, I romp into the woods on the edge of the city for fruit, mushrooms or wild herbs that I don't want to buy at the market. There's a few sleazeballs that overprice it when you can literally just pick it. But I like being in the forest anyway. It's where I feel the most at home. Hehe. Dad won't know what hit him. He's at the stall with Pa all day today, so I can buy all the stuff for dinner without him noticing. As the resident cook of the household, I've set out to make a stupidly extravagant dinner for my dad's birthday. A little tongue. Aww. Lucky for us, the forest has most anything we could possibly need. The forests here are part of our livelihood. They run rampant and dense, totally unexplorable the further you go in. Believe me, people have tried, and then there's the they were never seen again rumors that go around, though sometimes they do come back in a sorry state. But we need stuff from it, and we try to take care of it. We gave up on fossil fuels forever ago. My throat's dry. Ah, 'tis nice. Thank you, water. My throat's still dry though, because I went too long without drinking. Oops. We gave up on fossil fuels forever ago, so we use nature's power, like the turbulent rivers that snake through the forest, the oceans, and here on the coast we rely on the wind. Pedaling, I notice a big black blob, tongue twister, in the middle of the path. Oh wait, it's actually something moving. What is that thing? Sure, we have the normal animals around here, like deer and reptiles and rabbits, but some folks say that there are other stuff deep in the woods. And honestly, I ignore that nonsense because I really don't want to know what messed up stuff lives out there. Far away, I can sort of tell it's some kind of snake, but it's getting much bigger as I get closer. My bike is pretty sturdy and made for tough dirt roads. I could probably hop over it. Don't hop over it. Walk around it. You don't want to hurt it, like... Nah, I don't want to get cursed or anything. Seriously, I have no idea what that thing is, but I want to steer clear of it. Alley-oop. Hopping off of my bike, I make sure to lead it around a ways off the path. I've never seen a snake like that around here before. Pa knows about this kind of stuff, so maybe I'll ask him. I trot back onto the path and get on my bike again, studying the basket. That's pretty. I wonder if the devs took these pictures or if these are like stock photos. But it's very pretty, and can I visit these places, please? I gave myself a water stash. That's cool. Looks foreign to me, obviously. Not foreign to itself. The town where I live is on the coast. It's one of the larger cities, being in the perfect place for people and coming and going. That looks so good. Dude, I want fruit. We occasionally get bad weather, like monsoons when they're in season, but other than that, the climate is relatively in between. Yeah, same here. We get monsoons, that's about it. Flash floods during monsoon season. And then other than that, it's just hot. You hear all sorts of stories and myths about the forest, since we're basically on its doorstep. Closer to the edge of the city is a huge temple, where a lot of those histories and stories are recorded as religion. I don't care much for it, but Pa goes at least once a week. I do like going there to look at the art on the walls, both in and out, centuries-old birds and fruits, and interestingly enough, dragons, all in the brightest colors. Oh. Is this a story about dragons? The nice weather brought out everyone, huh? I'm sure many were the same as me, not wanting to leave their home after the bad storm that blew in. I passed by people I know. I burped, giving them a wave and a smile. My parents are famous for their textiles, so everyone knows who we are. Well, I wouldn't say we're famous, but we must have some clout if people specifically seek out our textiles from all over the world. I mean, if people are all over the world, maybe famous might be the right way to describe it. The streets are busy, people going this way and that. The only way through is to push shoulders and scoot behind carts. My parents run the business almost entirely by themselves, and I've been an employee since I was able. Homemade textiles and craft, that kind of stuff. People say the colors are one of a kind and offer big money, but my pa prefers to keep it small and local. I like that too. I like living here and doing this kind of work. Pretty. Coming up to a corner shop, I put my bike against the side of the building before I head inside. Dad, Pa, help has arrived! Mars? Aw, Mars is a cool name. I wish my name was Mars. Keaton, I thought you got eaten by something. You were so late. That's Pa. He mixes all the colors and does most of the designing and knows absolutely everything about anything. Little beard scruffies. Courser? Mars, looks like they're fine. You can stop being a worrywart. Yes, sure, says Panic Dad number 1. Shut it. And that's Dad. They've been together a disgustingly long amount of time. Disgusting. I'm here and I'm ready for whatever. Great, but you have a different job today, right? Yes, sir, on my way, sir. Alright, so we'll see you later, okay? You got it? Wait, where are you going? Keaton has some stuff to buy. It's for later this week. Oh, what is it? Don't worry that pretty head of yours. Say goodbye to your kid. Stay out of trouble, Keaton. We'll hold down the fort here. Oh, that reminds me. Have you ever seen a big black snake before? Of course I have. There's rat snakes in the forest. Harmless. No, like, big black snake. I know what a rat snake is, and this wasn't it. It was way too dark, not even shiny. Pa, gave me a look. Like he doesn't believe what I saw. I can't think of anything like that. Okay. I thought you of all people would know. It, like, looked at me and then slithered off. The guardians of the forest bend things to their will, so I'm sure seeing an abnormally large snake is normal. The woods have all manners of things we don't know about. I'd just be careful next time you take that path, alright? Guess so. If you believe in that stuff. Well, I'll catch you two later. And with that, I give a little wave before dashing out the door again. Hey, were you lying when you said you didn't know what that snake thing was? Did you just lie to them? Yes. They'd go gallivanting off to find it if I actually told them anything. You know how Keaton is. So, you lie to them? I read something a while ago, then heard it from a priest at the temple. I asked because I was curious. There's something in the forest, something powerful and dark. It can change forms at will or control animals. One of the more common occurrences being a large black snake. Is it bad? I don't know too much besides that, but we've been warned since far too long ago to avoid it. Okay, so now Keaton is probably even more curious. Look what you did. They're not stupid enough to go out and wrangle a snake. I hope. We hope? And an order of orange cranberry bread too, please. Oh, that sounds fucking bomb. Sure thing, Keaton. Just for your dad's birthday? I know he always comes in and buys a slice of that for breakfast. Haha, yeah. I'm okay at making bread, but half the time it doesn't work out. I hardly ever see you three out. Must be good cooking in the kitchen. I take the receipt of my order from the cashier, tucking it into a pocket with other papers. They both work all day. It's the least I can do for them when they let me out of work early. You're a good kid, Keaton. I'll make a nice loaf of that one for you to pick up Friday. As always, thank you. I retreat back onto the street, deciding to enjoy the sandwich I got for lunch high up in the city. With my little basket tucked under my arm, I dash out of the crowds, hopping upstairs and jumping to smack at window awnings. As I go further up the hill, I get a good look out towards the ocean and the forest. Both go out as far as the eye can see. One a roiling mass of blue and white, the other a dark green expanse coating the mountains in the distance. I prefer the forest, but the sound of the ocean is pleasing to my ears. It's like a lullaby. The river that starts somewhere in the forest snakes through the trees and the town, emptying into the ocean. Sitting on the steps, I finally relieve my tired legs from hours of standing and biking. I'm shocked Pa didn't know what that thing was earlier. Oh, wait. He totally lied. Who lies to their only beloved child? Oh well, not like I'll ever see it again. I can hear the gulls making a racket overhead, some perching on the roofs and the street to get a good look at my sandwich. No, mine! A few hop closer, nibbling at loose straw in my basket in an attempt to dismantle it. I want to meet seagulls, but also I'm afraid of getting just totally fucking wrecked. Aw, come on, y'all. Ripping some pieces of bread from the end of my lunch, I tossed it toward the ravenous monsters. I ate the last of my lunch in silence, my thoughts running round and round with the idle chatter of the market in the background. It's beginning to get late in the day, and I stick around to admire the sunset. Oranges and reds fall over onto the water, painting the sky in all their warm hues. Should probably head back home and hide some of this food. I can stick it in the fridge in a bag or something. Dad isn't that terrible that he'd look through my stuff. Sometimes he really behaves like a little kid. Grabbing my bike, I decide to head back home. I'm tired anyways. The forest is still, swaying in a breeze that seems to be constant, even with the trees so dense. 3 figures, devoid of one they call Win, are gathered around a large boulder. Fisher sits on top it, her foot tapping so hard a crack seems to grow in the rock. Can't believe all we have to go off of is that we have to find a human. Leaning on the rock right underneath her, Dove picks out berries from a bowl and pops them into the air for Fisher to catch in her mouth. I thought you loved humans. I do. But do they know anything about the forest? I thought that was our jurisdiction. Fisher kind of reminds me of, Amethyst. No? Right? Like a little bit? Dove picks out a few rotten pieces of fruit from the bowl, tossing them over to Magpie laying on their back a bit a ways. Okay. Don't know why my brain got stuck. Okay, but this is our only lead. People are all dimwits, surprisingly, and let humans write it all down, probably. Ugh. Cure? A human free of the dark? Hearts warmed in tandem. All humans have the dark in them. Magpie lifts their head from where they are laying, wiping fruit and leaves off themselves. There are sayings that... They paused, Fisher and Dove staring at them intently. That there are really some humans who don't have the dark. Great, now I have to go to, like, a city. You look excited about it. A little. I can help with the city. I've observed them for quite some time. Of course you have. The mood relaxes while the 3 of them talk and discuss formulating a plan, until the air gets dark. A lone figure steps toward them, simply appearing out of the murky darkness between the trees. Magpie stands abruptly, eyes wide with panic as they gaze at the newcomer. What are you doing here? Hey, fellas. Hey, fellas. Hey, fellas. Am I interrupting something? He radiates an energy similar to wind, but dripping with much more power. A long, black tail drags on the ground behind him, the barbed tip of it twitching like a cat's would. I was going to say hello to Win, but, seems like he isn't here. Fisher jumps down from the boulder, landing next to Magpie. Dove stays where he is, watching. Look who the forest threw up. I thought your job was to oversee the well, Ramses. Her tone is angry, scalding. Heh. I'm glad I at least found his favorite lackeys. All that's left of this silly little council. He seems unfazed by Fisher's accusations, seemingly ignoring her. Everyone goes quiet, glances going up between the 3 on the side of the clearing opposite Ramses. Magpie takes a step forward, fight or flight instincts making their limbs shake. I am super not used to talking this much, as usual. I might have to go make some tea. Like Fisher said, aren't you meant to be at the well? What happened? Ramses nonchalantly runs a hand through the feathers falling over his shoulders. I could withhold this information and leave you frantic, but telling you or not telling you would garner that reaction, I suppose. I just want to know if you know anything. Of course I do. I know everything about this place. Well, what happened to it? Fisher barks from where she's standing, arms folded impatiently. Poisoned. Poisoned by a human. You're kind of a creep, dude. That silences the three, and their alarm becomes evident on their faces. Poisoned? Is that even possible? How on earth did a human find it? How long would it even take to show signs of sickness? Poisoned? It's poisoned? Right. If a human takes a little swim in the well, it gets positively nasty. We all know not to touch such a thing, right? Who knows what memories lie deep down in there, how torturous it could be. Some feather-brained moron happened upon our most sacred of sites, so here we are. Devoured then and there. Oh no. The dark is made up of souls and memories of long past mortal and immortal. We guard it and make sure of its purity, but if a living denizen of the earth should ever enter it, they becomes poisoned and overflows with more power than they could possibly bear. So that's what's devouring the forest. As expected of you, Magpie. So smart. Bravo. Wow. But still, without your king, who is to help you? All you have are those last pathetic words from Wind. Why are you dripping? And you're all by yourselves. Magpie draws back as the black liquid drips down Ramses' face like tears. Choking back her disgust, Fisher stands protectively in front of them. Too bad. You don't even know what to do. None of you know a human without the dark. None of you know your true histories. Magpie puts a hand to their chin, mumbling to themselves. Histories. Human with no dark. How even would we find a person like that? Fisher lets out a growl, brandishing claws as she points towards Ramses. I don't care if you're one of the first guardians. Tell us what you know or I'll make you talk. Just drippy. Tisk? Wait. Would you say tisk or like tsk? Tsk. I don't know. I really don't know. Anyway. Ever the one to take the first step. So brutal. I'm afraid I say I have no intention of helping you, even without this poison. Not after figuring out this lie. So just go away. With a crack, a dark energy floods over them, and once it clears, Ramses is gone. Damn it. Now where'd that sleazeball go? Oh man, what's gonna happen to us? Nothing. We're gonna be fine. All we gotta do is find a human. You're joking, right? I don't think any of us have even talked to one. We can't meddle with them. Oh, this is very bad. Even Ramses is poisoned. He isn't inherently the source, though. He must have interacted with the true cause. What did Ramses mean by histories, though? Magpie continued to mumble, trying to make sense of it all. The three have gone quiet, mulling over their encounter with Ramses. This human with a heart free of the dark could be anywhere, but I may have an idea of how to find them. Do you? Do you really? Yes. There's a coastal city not far from here. It's one of the more densely populated human cities in this territory. Ramses may have a lead there. That's great. You're always on top of things, Magpie. Are we all gonna go? I don't really want to. There you go, being a grump, Dove. Come on, we'll do better together. If we follow the South River, it'll lead us. It empties into the ocean, and the city sits atop the delta. Great, let's go then. Forms changing again, they stand around each other. Long, lithe creatures, feathered and clawed. Magpie lets out a chirp and flits off in the direction that the others follow. Little chirp. It's kinda cute. The clearing finally falls silent again until a large black shape slides over the still forest floor. Its form gives a shiver, warping into something larger and standing upright. Breath hitching in pain, a human steps forward, and the crunch of labored footsteps upon the leaves resonates through the quiet. Oh no. You okay, bud? They stand where Ramses had been, absently staring at the ground with labored breaths. A spasm runs through their body, and they clutch at their chest, coughing black sludge onto the ground. It sizzles where it falls. Another moment goes by, and their breathing calms, a hand sagging at their side, while they vanish back into the wood. Don't smile creepily while you do that. Don't do that! The ocean is calm today. I can barely hear the soft splash of it down by the beach. It's still too early, but the house is quiet, all except for the shuffling of my slippers and the drip-drop of coffee. My body feels sluggish, almost aching as I stand in the kitchen and stir sugar into my cup. Yawn. I was going to try to yawn, but I didn't feel like it, so I gave up halfway into starting. And here I figured I went to bed early, too. I could barely focus on pouring the hot water through the filter, narrowly avoiding spilling it all over the place. Am I getting sick? My head hurts. Leaning heavily against the counter, I rub at my temple. I felt fine the past few days, and I really don't remember the last time I was legitimately ill. Taking my coffee into the back room, I fall into a chair and yawn again. Maybe it's the espresso I had at 10 p.m. Damn it, Keaton, you made me yawn! And yeah, maybe it was the espresso you had at 10 p.m. I like coffee just as much as the next person, but even I know it's probably a bad idea to drink it after, 5. Stretch your break, sorry. Okay. Pull out my headphones. Last time for that, I think. My dads have already left for the day, saying the shop should be busier now that the weather's cleared. Deciding to turn on the TV, I settle down with a blanket. Aw, that sounds cozy. The news is showing anything it always does. Explorers getting lost in the woods, a new species discovered, politicians promising things. But then it cuts to a breaking news story, and I lean a bit forwards. Something is spreading through the forest, devouring plant life and towns. Whole towns! Didn't know that part. There's only been eyewitnesses from the air, as anyone who gets too close ends up dead or comatose. Comatose? They show a map where it's already spread, and I shiver where I see how close it's getting to my city. I'm surprised Pa didn't mention this. Doesn't look very good. Classic parent tactic. Staring out the window, I can faintly see the tops of trees from where I'm sitting. As I do, my gut wrenches painfully. Ugh, what's wrong with me today? Don't know why I feel so terrible today, but I decided to go get out of the house at least. Grabbing my old flip phone I refuse to get rid of, I send a quick text to Dad that I'm going out on my bike. The reply is almost immediate. Be careful, love you. He needs to learn how to type in lowercase one of these days. Oh, that's funny. Tucking the phone into my pocket, I rummage in the fridge and pantry to pack some food and water, just in case I end up losing track of time. Oh my god, the cookies I baked the day before yesterday are already gone? We are 3 people! I'm very good at eating cookies as 1 people. The air feels warm today, more than usual in the dense woods. I don't pay it any mind, stopping at a small crossroads along my ride to take a break. Already finished with one of my water bottles, I pack it back into my backpack. Chewing on some fruit snacks, I listen to the sounds around me. Fruit snacks. Birds and the wind, leaves rustling and trees rubbing against each other, making that squeaking sound they do. I can already feel myself calm down being here. The forest always puts me at ease. Packing up my belongings, I make sure the bag is securely zipped shut. I've ridden all over these paths. People say not to go off them or else you'll get lost. My curiosity has peaked lately, and the urge to go further into the forest is outweighing my common sense. There was that stuff on the news, but I have no idea what it even is, or how close it actually is. Couldn't hurt to wander a bit. People create new paths all the time anyway. Knowing I'm probably being stupid, I take the pack off my bike and sling it over my shoulders. Stepping over the small wooden barrier indicating the path, I head off into the woods. Now, if any normal person did this, I would yell at them, and I should probably yell at myself too. But I've been in these woods and all over the place as young as I can remember. In fact, I know for sure that there's a field of wild berries down this way and a peach tree grove in the opposite direction. My footsteps are steady, and I'm sure of where I'm going. Chewing on a granola bar, I hop over creeks and fallen logs. Feels good to get off the path. I wonder if the blueberries have ripened. I want a granola bar now. Damn it. Maybe I can make pancakes tomorrow for breakfast. I have Lara bars, but it's not the same. It's not a granola bar, okay? After a bit, I start to feel like I've somehow gone the wrong way. I should have reached the clearing by now, but all I see is the forest becoming more dense. I put up tags on the trees, so I should be seeing the peach trees at least by now. All I can see is trees and trees and trees, and not the trees I'm expected to see. Shit. I can't believe I've lost. I look up to try and grasp where I'm going by means of the sun, but even that's impossible to see with how the trees have covered the sky. And it's getting darker at almost an alarming rate. I turn around to try and just go back the way I came, following my footsteps, until it starts leading me somewhere else. Where the hell am I? It's completely unfamiliar to me, like the forest is purposefully leading me in any direction it wants. But at the same time, it feels like I should keep going. Keep going and going and going. Where even is this? I turn, getting a better look around me. There's a fog drifting in, wisps of cloud floating around my feet in the base of the trees. It could be quite beautiful if I wasn't so nervous. To make matters worse, I hear the crack of a branch snapping behind me somewhere. Please don't eat me! I don't taste good! I watch as a silhouette begins to appear through the darkness and become somewhat relieved when it seems human. Are you a guide, or are you lost too? Either way, it would be great if you knew the way back to the path. Oh my god, a human. A human! Fisher! Magpie! There's a human! Human? Yes, I am. Are you not? I watch as two more shrouded figures come out of the woodwork. When they come closer, it feels as if something explodes in my chest, like a force is pulling me by the front of my shirt to meet them. But I see them and freeze. A human! I stare in horror as something shows itself. It looks mostly human, but its eyes are deep black where white should be. Oh, I didn't notice that. They have tails, and there's horns on its head. Stay still, stay still. Best try. What are you? I back up as far as I can, seeing the other two with similar features to the first one. My back hits a tree, and I grab my backpack, sliding it off to hold it in front of me like a shield. Whoa, adorable. They're adorable, aren't they, Dove? Calm down. I think we scared them. Thanks, Dove. The two creatures talk amongst themselves, absolutely ignoring my panicked wheezing. Okay. The last of them come behind the other two, pushing them and giving me a smile. I'm sorry. We're not here to harm you. Please don't be frightened. They extend a hand out towards me, but I hesitate. Well, that's sweet to offer my hand, but what happens if I don't take it? You expect me to just trust you when you're looking like that? I don't think so. The one trying to be nice steps away and goes further towards their companions. Oh, I've upset Magpie. I don't want to be rude, but how could I not in this situation? The three of them whisper amongst themselves until the last one who spoke stepped up again. My name is Magpie, the woman is Fisher, and the small one is Dove. We are in need of your help. Aw, look how upset Magpie is. I'm sorry about that. I don't mean it. I'm sorry. I feel bad. The one named Magpie said, gesturing to their friends. We've been looking for a particular kind of human. A human with your qualities. Sorry, I started popping my knuckles. I have to finish. It's just one of those things. You can't just stop halfway through. You have to finish. Okay. Fisher puts her hands on her hips, nodding. Qualities. What kind of qualities? I hope I don't have to give you my blood or anything. 'Cause if so, I ain't doing it. We don't need your blood. After all, I definitely passed out on the path, and I'm dreaming. The three weirdos exchange a glance until Fisher bursts into laughter. Dreaming? You think you're dreaming? Humans are dumb, aren't they? Jove, you're a dick. They're standing right there, and I can hear everything they're saying. Look, if I'm dreaming, how else would I be seeing weirdos such as you? We're what humans refer to as the guardians of the forest. I stop and I stare as the realization computes in my brain. Guardians. Things like that were actually real. While we can call ourselves guardians and have other forms, I don't trust you to behave yourself and show you. Too many of us have been too trusting and fallen to a human's knife. I has knife. I don't has knife. Okay. That's valid, I guess. We oversee the forest. Make sure it stays healthy and remains safe for humans. Oh, that's interesting. Not sure if I'm believing any of this anyway. Something has happened within the forest that will affect humans as well, and that's where you come in. I can't really make sense of where this is going, but I've been digging my nails into my palm, willing myself to wake up. Nothing has happened this far, so I'm starting to count this as reality. A reality where the forest myths are true. Because, despite the absurdity of the situation, the woods are full of mysteries and sometimes you need to believe them. Let's say this is all absolutely true. It is, I promise you. And you need me to save the world or something. What would you need me to do? When I ask that, Magpie seems to get all nervous and they sigh. That's the problem. We have an idea, but it is only something we know from someone who is no longer here. So you don't actually know what you need me to do. No, we don't. I thought gods were supposed to know everything. So they should absolutely know how they should be saving the forest and everything in it, right? And if they don't know what they need, does that mean I'm trapped here forever? Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. We have some sort of lead. We need to find a key of sorts. Another, the guardian, said we also need to make friends with the human. But the human has to be completely free of the dark energy that runs through the forest. Do you ever feel like you're empty? No? What the heck are you talking about? Oh my god, Dove, shut up. Do you ever feel more connected to the forest than anything else? Do you feel at ease here, like you belong? Now that she says it like that, I absolutely agree with her. Many times I've been bedridden or busy, unable to get into the woods, and I get very cranky. Only until I feel the dirt under my feet and smell the sap of pine do I relax. Okay, I agree with that. Even though I was lost before and felt scared, I still felt okay, if that makes sense. Like I knew where I was. That's what I mean by empty. You don't have the forest in you, so being in the forest makes you feel whole. Why didn't you say it like that earlier then? I have no idea what would happen what would even happen to me if I agreed to whatever these people want from me. But right now I'm lost and in dangerous territory. I may feel a semblance of home in the forest, but even with that, I know it isn't inherently safe. These guys are my only way out right now. Alright, you've roped me into it. I'll help you if you can get me home or something. I feel like I'm in some dumb adventure movie. Great! No sooner do the words leave her mouth, a coral of black spreads around the trees. It soundlessly blocks any remaining light filtering through the branches. A gut feeling in me tells me I should hide, but all I have is my backpack and the protective stance Fisher takes up in front of me. Oh, ugh. Why'd she get so miffed? What else is going on? Magpie turns to me, looking more serious than I've ever seen them, even after asking me to join them. Don't get serious, Magpie. It's weird. Human, please stay quiet. It is imperative that you do not get involved with this person. Who? You can't tell me not to get involved. Now I want to get involved. My eyes catch a new figure crossing the clearing, their body almost oozing out of the darkness. Their presence commands absolute attention from everyone gathered. Oh. Frickin' Ramses. That's who. And here we all are. The feathers around their collar remind me of a vulture, and their eyes are different from the others. Red and white, staring at me. Good job, you three. I didn't even have to explain a thing myself. Ramses, we have it under control. The three original strangers stand in front of me while I press myself further into the tree, backpack clutched to my chest. They're trying to hide me from the gaze of this Ramses person, it seems. Sure you do, sure you do. I kind of like Ramses' sarcasticness. It's amusing, but I think if I had to deal with this person in real life, I'd be like, ugh, get out. His voice drips with contempt, but it almost seems forced. Ramses begins to pace back and forth in front of the group, and I notice a long black-scaled tail trailing behind him. The tip of it twitches back and forth, coiling around itself, the next motion, then going back to twitch again. Shove off, Ramses. Shove off. Shove off. Shove off. We can handle this better than you creep. This human would probably run off the second you tried to make small talk. Fisher challenges the newcomer, who chuckles darkly. I know all of us look like absolute idiots, but personality-wise, you're the worst. Well, you can't just be mean to people like that. And I really feel bad for Ramses. Like, you can't just be rude, even if you don't like somebody. It hurts people's feelings, okay? They're starting to argue, and Ramses has come to join the circle standing in front of me. All the while, I've noticed a tug inside, like a magnet drawing me towards all these people. This feeling, it's consuming my vision. It's becoming too strong, burning in my chest. My body heaves, and I'm somehow finding it hard to breathe. So I reach out my hand, desperate for some kind of anchor. Aw, I have to... This is where we pick our route. This is where we pick our route. So we've got jovial Fisher, little quiet Magpie, and a sassy dove. I don't know who to pick. I think Dove is the funnest personality to be around. And I grab for Dove. Small little Dove. I feel his hand jolt and he spins to stare at me in both shock and distaste. Oh, don't be mean to me. I'm sorry. I picked you over everybody else. You should feel... What's it called? Grateful. Forgot what grateful was for a second. We both stare at each other, seconds ticking away into scared silence. Ramses lets out a little laugh, his voice sounding more coarse. Of all the ones to go to, the one who probably hates humans the most. Oh, Ramsey's doing that star sparkly eyes. That's so... that's such a, like, amusing face you're making, dude. Excellent. You've won the dragon lottery. Cool. I have no idea what he means, and I'm not too keen on sticking around to find out. Glancing at Magpie, I plead wordlessly at what to do, as Dove is still staring at our joined hands in shock. I'm sorry, Dove! I'm sorry! I didn't realize you hated humans so much. I would have left you to fuck alone, and just gone with the little sweet Megapie. Keaton, you and Dove need to find the cure. He will understand where to go. With a tilt of my head, I decide to trust them, and grip Dove's hand a little tighter. Dove? Dove, come on, let's just go. Dove looks like they're gonna be sick. I have no idea what Magpie is talking about. Magpie gives Dove a small shove, barely able to bowl him over, words urgent. That way, just anyway. I look around, seeing Fisher bracing her entire body in front of Ramses. The black-scaled dragon's body is somewhat saggy now, eyes going slowly black. He looks sick, and I shiver when a jet-black tear drips from his eye. Deciding to take initiative, I squeeze Dove's hand, dragging him away with me from the scene. The dragon behind me yelps, and I hear him call out to his companions. Aw, Dove! Dove is kind of a cutie, right? Dove is a little bit of a cutie. A terrible cracking sound echoes through the forest, but I keep running. My heart is beating a mile a minute, and my chest is already heaving from my sprint. Suddenly, Dove is there next to me. In a matter of seconds, he's giving me a piggyback ride of sorts. Clinging to him and shouting, I close my eyes, feeling the air rush by. He's running faster than I could even fathom, until finally I'm pushed off and my butt is hitting the dirt. Dove, you butt chomp. You butt chomp. Yes. A butt chomp. I can only hope we're in a different part of the forest, but it's eerily quiet. Different light floats through the trees, and I relax to try and get my breath back. Dove stands close, chest heaving for the effort of his run, but his eyes are narrowed. I'm sure he's worried about his friends, but Magpie wanted us to leave, and to leave together. Then Dove looks to me, his personality seeming off from how he was before. I thought we was just going to get a sassy Dove. We've got a very upset Dove. Well, thanks, I guess. He says that, but he sounds ungrateful. Now I'm the one who has to babysit you. Alright, I didn't think you'd have an attitude about it, though. Me neither. I'm sorry. Your friend told us to go and you weren't moving. I'm not talking about that. I know what I need to do. I'm talking about you picking me, of all people. Are you some kind of idiot? Wow, okay. It was a heated moment. Did you want me to play Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo? I almost did, not gonna lie. Dove raises an eyebrow at me, his expression saying, oh yes, I did expect you to do that. Ugh, this is turning out super well. Look, I'm not asking for much. I just want to get home, and you need me to help you fix yours. Dove folds his arms, leaning against a tree, seemingly nonplussed. Magpie said you'd know where to go. You need whatever this cure is, right? Yeah, sure do. No idea where or what it is, though. I have no idea what Magpie is talking about. They said we should be friends, right? Ha! Like I'd ever be friends with you. Wow, Dove, you dick. You little green dick. It's weird. I'm sorry I said that. Ugh. This is infuriating. He seems to have some kind of problem with me when I've just met the guy. I'm really not in the mood to pick him apart, so I just start walking. I don't know where I'm going, but I see some kind of path well used by the forest animals, so I start to follow that. Fixing my backpack a little, I set off, hearing the crunch of footsteps follow behind me. Oh, so you want to hang out, I guess? Don't get me wrong, leaving you alone is probably the worst thing I could do right now. I don't want anyone's blood on my hands. With that, I gulp, feeling a shiver run down my spine. I can't even think of anyone who's been this deep in the forest, and even if I did, it was probably a ghost story. Some kind of expecting to find bones of long-lost explorers out here. There's the threat of Ramses and whatever is engulfing the forest, but also the unknown life out here. Half of me is glad for Dove's company, but for now, I don't trust him to actually protect me much. He seems like he'd rather not be here, which, same. But we have no choice on the matter now. Deciding to strike up conversation, albeit reluctantly, I clear my throat. So what's the deal with that Ramses guy? He started to look terrible. Dove picks at a nail and looks to me. He is meant to make sure nothing happens to the well, like what happened now, poisoned. The poison got him too, I guess. Now he's eating the forest alive, same as what turned him. The dark is running rampant now, and he's not willing or able to control it in that state. I reflect on that, finding it kind of sad. Ramses was keeping it all at bay until it got overwhelming, and now he's trying to destroy what he has to protect. That is pretty sad. That is pretty sad. Dove doesn't seem to care about Ramses' fate, though, and it's kind of irritating. So, do you hate Ramses? You all seem so prickly. I ask, watching Dove shrug. He's looking around as we walk, like he's watching out for something. I don't hate him, but I also don't like him. His personality is weird, and he likes humans too much. That's not bad, is it? Apparently not. The curt answer leaves me frowning at him. Dove seems to hate humans the most of all of them for some reason. I don't want to pry, but as a human myself, it makes me curious. For now, I just leave it be, making my way down the path, the wow, Dove a bit behind me. The sun is set, any last remaining warmth oozing down from the canopy is lost. The forest is too quiet, as if the fauna are avoiding one of their own guardians. I don't know if they eat, but I would assume dragons are at least omnivorous. Here, stay still, it's tickling me. The trees are dense, but the animal's path has been used properly for many years, so it's beaten into the dirt of the forest floor. These paths always lead to something, be it water, food, or common resting spots. We might come across something important if we follow it. Abruptly, the trees thin out, which is odd for me being so deep inwards. I hear Dove give a small tisk behind me and turn my head a little. Is there something wrong here? I've never seen the trees so open before. You'll see. It'll be obvious. Confused, I continue on my way. Sure enough, the animal path veers to the right, but on my left is a wide open clearing. In the center sits a stone structure, set in a large circle. Moss coats the rock, and I notice a doorway and a fallen roof. Plants have taken over it, but it's obvious this was a house of some kind. It's cool. I like. Interested, as I go off the path, approaching the dilapidated house, Dove follows behind me, tail coiling around his ankle. This is quite old, I point out, knowing it's quite obvious, but I want to start the conversation to make Dove talk, which he does end up doing. Humans used to live here, long ago, when you weren't as advanced and lived farther apart. There weren't many in this part of the forest, so he knew them all by name. The woman here used to have a large dog and a single cow. Big ol' doggo! Sure enough, I can see a little stable to one side. It's barely recognizable, but a rotted water trough and a metal basket lay on the ground. How long ago? I peek in the doorway, noticing a fireplace, a ruined table lying off to the side, and broken baskets of woven straw about the room. Long, long ago. No way to trace a person kinda long ago. She didn't have any descendants that I knew of. The way Dove spoke, it was like he knew her almost personally. Turning to him, I observe his face, looking for emotions from memories of a friend long past. Instead, I see an angry glint in his eyes, while his tail thrashes a bit. Dove, did you know her? I dare to ask, seeing as the dragon's frown turned into another sneer. Oh, I knew her. He starts walking to the back of the house, and I follow. It's not very big, but the tree line is close here. He takes me a bit further to where it opens into another clearing. I shiver when I see metal tools poking through the grass, then my body chills when I see bones. Large bones, small bones. I can't discern what they are. Dove goes to a pile of them and tugs one out of the dirt. It looks like a large horn, steeped in the same color as his own. The realization hits me like a trunk. Like a trunk. Humans have always been the same. He tosses it back onto the ground and then kneels, rummaging around. Standing again, he throws something in my direction, and I catch it. I drop it instantly, finding an odd-shaped skull cradled in my palms. It has a long face like a horse or crocodile, sharp, jagged teeth embedded in the mouth, one single horn arching upwards. What is that? My hands tremble, and Dove picks the skull back up. He almost caresses it, his eyes narrowed fiercely. When you live this far in the forest, there's all manner of creatures that pay you visit. There used to be much more of us, you know. When we're all done with your stores of food and the winter is long, you resort to unthinkable things. Ooh, that's angry face. When you get a taste for it and keep going, even in the bountiful throes of summer. Oh. I'm frozen in place and look around again. There's even more bones than I realized, all with chips from a shining knife. Skinning knife. Shining. This woman was one of many. We may have been guardians, but it was only in the beginning of our time that we were actually apparently revered. Later in life, we became simply myth. And when you become myth, you become prized. My mind spins, and I feel nausea well up in my stomach. Too much terrible information all at once. People eating these dragons, who have only looked human to me, is frightening. Also, imagining someone getting a taste for them, I shiver. Yeah, it sounds disgusting. It is disgusting. At least you seem to have some semblance of morals. Congrats. He jabs at me and goes back to rifling through the pile like he's looking for something. I watch him, resisting the urge to vomit when I look at all the bones. Too unsettled to continue observing, I go back to the front of the house. Dove doesn't give me a second glance. Sitting a ways off from the front door, I lean against a tree and let out a long sigh. It's no surprise the relationship between people who live in the forest and humans was strained, but I never figured it was that macabre. Taking a stick, I start drawing in the dirt. Simple squiggles and lines, since it's the only thing my brain can process right now. I just kind of want to go home. This is all too much for me. Why'd I have to get stuck doing all this? This nonsense was all simply people mentioned in mythical or religious text. Pa wasn't super devout, but he would talk. He would take. Shush. He burped. He would take time out of his day to go to the temple and make offerings. I grew up hearing all the stories of, so discovering things that went beyond the truth that we knew is staggering. And Dove isn't being too much of a help. He doesn't even know where to go. Poor thing, lost and wandering with a helpless little bird. I stand up startled when a voice washes over me. I can't tell where it comes from, but it seems to bleed from every part of the forest. Who's there? There's only a few people it could be, but I can't discern who the voice belongs to at all. I just hope it's something friendly. My hopes are crushed when I watch as a figure emerges from the woods. Darkness following them like a cloak. Poor thing. Ramses again. Why are you here, friend? It's Ramses, and he looks a bit worse. Paler than before. There's black stains in his clothes and on his skin. The black drips from his eyes like sludge. Your choice of guide was among the worst you could possibly have. Dove is the youngest of the three, and the most distressful. I hold my ground, but I can feel my knees shake. Ramses crept up on us so easily. Who knows if he's been here the whole time? And what's happened with the others? How fortunate for you to discover this place so soon. Do you know what happened here? Oh, of course I do. I know everything that happens. Those little star eyes, they're too cute for someone so creepy. Then why didn't you try to stop it? Why didn't you save them if you were so powerful? Ramses suddenly gets closer, and I smell something like death clinging to him. I put a hand over my mouth and nose. You think we're almighty, powerful. You're gods, aren't you? You can turn into a dragon, for crying out loud. I jab, which makes Ramses grin maliciously. It's hard to say. We were created to watch over these trees, the animals that live in their nooks, to protect the humans that call it home. We were not given the power to rip and tear. We're not supposed to have that power. The well contains all the sins of us departed and everything else in this world. He reached out to touch my face, hand shaking with pain as a nail scrapes across my cheek. I don't move, too terrified to will my legs to run away. Now if something like a dragon were to suddenly be filled with malice, oh, then we could cause some trouble. I finally back away, getting as far away as possible without going near the house. I'm barred on both sides by an unsettling situation. Well, why would you want to destroy this place? Ramses tilts his head, fingers twitching and grabbing at nothing as they lay at his sides. He looks at me with a sort of glee that can only be described as manic. Because I discovered the truth about us. The truth? What truth? The truth of the Guardian's existence. We were interrupted by another voice, calling my name. We both turn and see Dove running towards us from the back of the house. He skids to a halt in front of me, putting on a defensive position with clawed hands outstretched. What are you doing here? Oh, just telling our dear friend here some secrets. Ramses laughs, shrugging his shoulders while his tail coils and uncoils frantically. I have no idea what nonsense you've been spouting, but get out of here. We're busy, and I don't like you. What about you? Wouldn't you like to know too? It's fascinatingly terrible. Don't care. Leave or I'll make you. Dove, what if it's important? I argue, having a feeling that Dove won't listen to me anyway. It probably isn't important if it's coming from him, believe me. Ramses leans his head back, smiling at us. He folds his arms and brings a hand to his chin, tapping a clawed finger there. Ooh? Really, if only you knew. I told you, I really don't know anything. Interesting. Then again, I don't care much until I actually dug a little deeper. Didn't care much. I suggest being a bit more attentive. Suddenly, with a wish of air that made both Dove and I close our eyes, Ramses was gone. Left in his wake was a stain of black on the forest floor. Tch. Dove goes over to the stain, stomping on it and messing up the dirt to disperse it. After a moment, he lets out a cry of what sounded like pain and moves away. Hey, you okay? I dare asking, hoping he'll tell me. We might be like oil and water right now, but I do care about his well-being. We're stuck together as it is. Yeah, I'm fine. It's just... Dove looks down at the stain. It sizzles against the fallen leaves and dirt, like it has a heat to it. It must have been hot against the bare parts of his foot. He sits down and looks over the pad of his foot like he should find it burn. I can't see from where I'm standing, so I wait. This stuff feels wrong. He mumbles quietly, then glances at me and stands, brushing off his pants and collecting himself. Dove finally turns back to me. All right, we should get out of here. Is that his tongue? Wait, are you sure you're all right? Yeah, of course. Anyway, I have a lead. I can tell he's diverting the conversation, but I go along with it anyway, since it's a hopeful diversion. Actually, this hopeful diversion is kind of a good place to leave it. I don't know how long this is, but I've already been going for an hour. And if I don't give my voice a break, it will go away and I'll be sad, okay? So I guess this will be split up into parts. Sorry, I thought I was going to do it all in one go, but I guess not. Oh well. Thank you everybody for coming out and playing with me. I had a ton of fun. If you like this video, make sure you like it or visit the dev. First link in the description will take you to this game. And join the Discord. Yes. That is all. I'll see you next time. Bye!